to tie a couple of these live so you guys can chime in and go from there. But I'm going to jump right into it. It's a real simple fly. It's a real small fly. It's tied on an Owner Gorilla Light size 2 hook. And we Sanyo's chromatic brush, 1.5 live bait fish. And then the rest of it's just markers and some bucktail. So 210 flat wax thread. Go ahead and start your thread. Run it back to about the hook point. Stop right there. Cut the thread off. Come in and get a sparse clump of bucktail. You get a trash can over here. So we're going to sparse clump of bucktail. It's not a lot. Show the 3 cameras. And you're going to measure this out, and it's going to be 2 times the length of the hook. So that'll be 1, 2. Trim this. Anytime you can pre-trim your materials, it'll help you tie a little cleaner fly. Hold this at an upward angle, like so. Get a couple loose wraps. Keep that on top of the hook, and then go ahead and pinch the sides of the hook so it doesn't roll down. And go ahead and bite down and wrap through this real nice and tight. Make sure to tie this in nice and clean because you're going to be palmering another material over it. So now we're going to take this Sanyo's chromatic brush in 1.5 inch. We're going to tie it in right on the side. Run our thread right to the eye. And we're going to hold this in an upward angle. Taper everything back. And take your time wrapping this, but don't go too crazy with it. You want to do 4 to 5 wraps. And just cover the shank of the hook. You're just building a little body to the fly. So that's going to be about it. This is a sparse, light little bait fish fly. So 3 wraps there. Pull this out of the way. Do a couple wraps. Don't make a huge thread head when you're doing that. Just a couple wraps. I do a double whip finish. That's a single whip finish. So you guys can see I was pulling on that quite hard. Your double whip finish. Get rid of your thread. Get rid of the brush. And you're going to come in with a little brush. Brush this all out, untangle it, and tame it back. Then add some color. These are just Prisma markers. You can buy these at any hobby store. Comes with a fat and a skinny end. And just color just the brush. Don't go too crazy back into the bucktail. Just keep this right in the brush. And color just the back side of it. Then it's best to flip this fly over. I like to pull all the material back and out of the way and add a little red gill plate. And you're going to get some gel super glue. A little dot right at the eye of the hook. Now I like to take 5mm red 3D eyes. Stick right up behind the eye of the hook. Just finishes the fly off real nice. It's kind of oversized eye, but it looks real good on it. I'll do my side now. So I don't know how long that took, but this fly is done. We can literally go fish it after I put this eye on and add a little hard as hall nail polish over the head. But we're going to tie a couple of these at full speed so you guys can see why I call it the guide fly. And regardless of what water you're fishing, everything eats a bait fish. Doesn't matter if it's a snook here in Florida, if it's a smallmouth bass in Michigan, or if it's a, you know, a pike, everything eats a bait fish. So there's one fly. Set that out of the way. And I'm going to tie one full speed, and we'll go at it. So lock your hook right in the vise. Start your thread. Sparse clump of bucktail. Cut too much wire with those scissors. So sparse clump of bucktail, 2 times the length of the hook. Trim it off pretty square, hold it at an upward angle. Wrap through it nice and tight. Attach your brush right on the side. Thread forward. Wrap this right to the eye of the hook. Pull everything back, clean it up. Nearly a mess up. Couple turns. So as a fishing guide, we don't get a whole lot of time to tie flies or come up with different patterns, and this is kind of like the workhorse of flies for fishing guides, because you can catch virtually every fish on it. And it doesn't take a whole lot of time or a whole lot of money to tie. So it's a pretty functional fly as a fishing guide to come in and sit down and tie 12 of these and then take some customers out fishing, or just go fishing myself for fun. You know, little to my advice, and it's very effective. In fact, I'll be fishing this tonight with some good friends of mine. Stick a little eye on the side. Another little eye on the side. When I finish this one, I'll hold it up to the camera so you guys can get a closer look at it and see that it's a real sparse little bait fish. Doug Larry Jones says, "What's up, Doug?"
What's up, Larry?
So, real sparse little bait fish. Tie one more and probably call that a day for the fly tying. So again, this is an owner Gorilla Light hook. If you can't come up with an owner Gorilla Light hook, the thing that turned me on to this hook was it's a short shank, wide gap hook. So whatever hook you love, that's a short shank, wide gap hook, use it. You don't want a long shank hook. This is gonna drive me nuts if I can't get to this in the groove. There we go. So I was asked how long I've been doing this. This particular fly I've been tying since 2013. This is like the third stage of this fly. It's all been different variations, different materials, but it's all basically been the same fly, just changing different hooks, changing different head materials. But since really 2013, I've been playing around with this fly pattern. fly tying in general. I've been tying since I was 9. I'll be 31 this year, so I've been doing it a little while. Tied in my chromatic brush. Go ahead and wrap this right up to the eye of the hook. Take your time with this. Try not to trap too many fibers. As you guys can see, I'm kind of taming them back as I wrap them. Makes a nice little tapered body. These guard hairs will taper right back into the bucktail and kind of blend and look like one uniform material. That's part of why I chose this brush overall. There's another brush that you can use. I don't know what I do with that whip finish tool. Yeah. There it is. There's another brush you can use, which would be a Sanyo's or an EP Foxy brush. And it doesn't have as much flash in it, and it kind of makes a little taller profile. I was using that for a while. And then I was just using Palmer chenille for a while. So if you guys don't get these materials, you guys can still tie basically the same fly. It's just different variations at different stages I was tying them in. And as the newer materials started coming out, I started playing with the different materials and changing and evolving the fly to fit my tying needs and my fishing needs. So you guys do the same thing out there. Again, just a permanent marker right over the back of this, keeping it in the brush, not the bucktail. And then I'm going to give this fly some gills with the red. I'm just going in right at the hook point just to keep everything symmetrical. So all my flies have basically the same gill plate right at the gill plate, or right at the hook point. Drop a gel super glue right at the eye of the hook. 5mm eyes. Another 5mm eye right at the eye of the hook. Some nail polish to lock everything in. There's a couple of straggler hairs there. It'll drive me nuts eventually, so I'll light that up just to get rid of them. Make sure to go quick with that if you're going to do that at home. It will catch on fire and burn, and your hopes and dreams of a 3-minute fly now comes into a 6-minute fly because you have to start over and do it again. There you go. The nail polish just helps the eyes stick on a little longer. If you wanted to do some loon or some epoxy, you can do that, but you don't want to build a whole lot of bulk, so keep that in mind when you're doing so. Again, little bait fish fly, and you guys can do them whatever color you want. I got pink ones, I got green ones, I got gray ones. You can tie them bigger or smaller, but for the most part, it's all the same. It's all the same fly. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm going to let Doug take it over. You guys make sure to subscribe to our YouTube page. This will be edited and thrown up on the YouTube page here in the next probably 24 hours. And Doug's going to take it over. Hope you guys enjoyed.